Welcome back to the channel, Rare Coins All World, everyone. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history, the Washington quarter dollar, minted in 1965. Now, you might be thinking, it's just a quarter, right? How much could it possibly be worth? Well, what if I told you that this seemingly ordinary coin could be worth a whopping $90,000? Yes, you heard that right, $90,000. Stick with me to discover why this 1965 Washington quarter is such a prized find among collectors and investors alike. Let's set the scene in 1965, a year of monumental changes in the United States. The country was undergoing significant shifts both socially and politically. In the world of currency, the 1960s were a time of rapid change as well. The United States had just experienced a major shift in its coinage. Prior to 1965, quarters were composed of 90% silver, making them valuable not only as legal tender but also as precious metal. However, in 1965, the U.S. Mint made the dramatic decision to eliminate silver from most of its coinage due to rising silver prices and a national shortage of the metal. This decision would forever change the composition of the Washington quarter, and it's this very change that makes the 1965 Washington quarter so fascinating. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty of what makes this quarter so valuable, let's take a step back and discuss the history behind the Washington quarter itself. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932, celebrating the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The original design, created by sculptor John Flanagan, depicted Washington in a classic profile. Over the years, the design has remained relatively unchanged, making it one of the most enduring symbols of American currency. The 1965 version of the Washington quarter, however, marked a turning point in the coin's history. The design of the 1965 quarter is nearly identical to earlier years, with Washington's profile on the obverse. Surrounding the portrait are the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the year, 1965. But on the reverse side, we see a stunning eagle perched on an olive branch, symbolizing peace and strength. The phrase United States of America and E pluribus unum are inscribed above and below the eagle, with the coin's denomination, quarter dollar, prominently displayed. What makes the 1965 Washington quarter special, however, is its composition. As I mentioned earlier, 1965 marked the switch from silver to a copper-nickel alloy for most circulating U.S. coins, including the quarter. This alloy, composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, gave the coin a much different look and feel than its predecessors. This change was essential for maintaining the production of U.S. coins during a time of rising metal prices. But not all quarters minted in 1965 were created the same, and that's where things get interesting. For the 1965 Washington quarter, the U.S. Mint produced two distinct types of coins. The first was the standard copper-nickel clad quarter, which was released into circulation and widely used in day-to-day transactions. However, a small number of 1965 Washington quarters were struck with a unique error, a silver content mistake. These error coins, mistakenly minted with some silver content, were not supposed to exist. They are extremely rare, and as you can imagine, they are highly coveted by collectors. These special error coins are what truly drive the value of the 1965 Washington quarter to the astronomical price we're discussing today. The 1965 quarters that were mistakenly struck with silver are often referred to as silver-clad or silver error quarters. These coins are often indistinguishable from the regular copper-nickel versions with the naked eye, but upon closer inspection or through expert analysis, the difference in composition is clear. So, why are these coins so valuable? First, let's consider rarity. Only a small number of 1965 Washington quarters were struck with silver, making them incredibly rare. Due to their error nature, these coins were not intentionally made, and the U.S. Mint did not release them in large quantities. As with many error coins, scarcity is a driving factor behind their value. Collectors and investors are always on the lookout for coins that are unique and difficult to find, and these silver error quarters fit the bill perfectly. the next factor contributing to the value of the 1965 Washington quarter is its condition. While there may be a limited number of these silver-era coins, their condition greatly impacts their price. Coins in mint state or uncirculated condition, those that show no signs of wear or handling, are far more valuable than those that have been circulated or damaged. A 1965 silver-era quarter that is in perfect condition can fetch an even higher price. Another reason for the high value of these coins is their historical significance. As we know, the decision to remove silver from U.S. coins was a pivotal moment in American history. The 1965 Washington quarter marks the end of an era, as it was the last year that quarters, half dollars, and dimes contained silver, making the silver-era quarters a tangible piece of that important shift in U.S. coinage history. Now, you might be wondering, what's the exact value of the 1965 Washington quarter today? Well, the regular copper-nickel quarters from 1965 are worth no more than their face value of 25 cents. However, the silver-era coins can command a much higher price. In fact, high-quality 1965 silver-era quarters have been known to sell for as much as $90,000 in auctions and private sales. Yes, $90,000 for a single quarter. This stunning value is what has made these coins a highly sought-after addition to any serious coin collection. Collectors who specialize in era coins are especially eager to acquire these silver-era 1965 Washington quarters, and the demand has only increased as the years have passed. The scarcity of these era coins, coupled with their historical significance and the allure of owning a rare piece of U.S. minting history, has made them one of the most desirable coins in the numismatic world. So, what does all this mean for you, the viewer? It means that if you happen to have a 1965 Washington quarter in your collection, or even in your change jar, it's worth taking a closer look. While most 1965 quarters are not worth more than face value, it's worth checking for those rare silver-era examples. You could be holding onto a piece of U.S. history that's worth tens of thousands of dollars. In conclusion, the 1965 Washington quarter is more than just a piece of currency, it's a treasure trove of history, rarity, and value. Whether you're a collector, an investor, or simply a curious viewer, this coin is a testament to the fascinating world of numismatics. And remember, while the standard 1965 quarters may be common, those rare silver-era coins can fetch a remarkable price of $90,000. Today we're going to explore a coin that's part of a rich history of U.S. currency and is highly sought after by collectors and numismatists alike, the 1974 Washington quarter dollar. Now, you might be asking yourself, what makes the 1974 Washington quarter so special? Why is this coin worth so much in today's market? Well, stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know all about the fascinating history of this quarter and just how valuable it can be. The Washington quarter has been in circulation for many decades, and it's one of the most recognized coins in the United States. Its historical context spans several crucial moments in American history, and it continues to be a key player in the world of numismatics. But why 1974, you ask? Well, the year 1974 was unique for several reasons. This year marked a continuation of the Washington Quarter series that began in 1932 to honor George Washington's 200th birthday. It's interesting to note that in 1974, the United States was in the midst of an era defined by political, cultural, and economic change, all of which played a role in the production of this iconic coin. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 as part of a celebration for the bicentennial of George Washington's birth. The design, created by artist John Flanagan, featured the beloved first president of the United States in profile. This image has remained virtually unchanged over the years, solidifying Washington's likeness as an enduring symbol of American pride and history. Throughout the years, the quarter has gone through some subtle changes, but the basic design featuring Washington's profile on the obverse and the American eagle on the reverse has remained consistent. In 1974, the design of the Washington quarter was still the one we all know today. On the obverse side, we have George Washington's face in profile, with the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," and 1974 surrounding him. On the reverse, we see a majestic eagle perched on an olive branch, flanked by the words, United States of America, e pluribus unum, and the phrase, $quarter. The 1974 Washington quarter was produced during a very specific time in American history. It was a year of economic challenges, as the country was coming out of a recession and grappling with inflation. Coinage production during this period was part of a larger effort to keep the U.S. economy stable while also responding to the increased demand for coinage. The U.S. Mint had to work quickly to meet this demand, producing millions of coins in a relatively short amount of time. One of the most important aspects of the 1974 Washington quarter is its composition. During this time, the quarter was composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, a formula that had been in place since 1965, when the U.S. Mint switched from a silver content due to rising silver prices. While this copper-nickel-clad alloy made the quarter less valuable in terms of its metal content, it allowed the mint to produce coins in larger quantities and at a lower cost, making them more accessible to the American public. But now, let's get to the part you're all waiting for, the coin's value. While most 1974 Washington quarters are worth only face value, 25 cents, there are certain versions that can fetch a significant amount of money on the collector's market. As with any coin, condition is key. The better the condition, the higher the value. In particular, uncirculated coins and those with special mint marks can command impressive prices. One of the biggest factors that affect the value of a 1974 Washington quarter is whether it has been well preserved. Coins that have been in circulation for many years often suffer from wear and tear, meaning their value is much lower. However, those that were kept in pristine condition or have been stored in protective cases can be worth much more. Minted with the same design as earlier years, the 1974 Washington quarter has become a sought-after item for collectors who are looking to complete their Washington quarter series. In addition to coin condition, the rarity of the coin also plays a significant role in its value. As with any coin series, some years are rarer than others, and certain variations can significantly affect the worth of a coin. The 1974 Washington quarter has a few variations that can make a huge difference in its price. For example, some 1974 quarters were minted with a proof finish or have unique errors that make them incredibly valuable. These error coins, such as those with double die or misstruck features, are particularly desirable to collectors. For collectors, discovering a rare or misstruck coin from the 1974 series is a big win. For instance, a 1974 Washington quarter with a double die error, where the design is slightly doubled, can fetch several $100s, depending on its condition. Proof coins from 1974, which were specially made for collectors and not for general circulation, can also be much more valuable. These coins were produced in smaller numbers, making them more rare and highly prized among those who specialize in collecting proof coins. While these error coins and rare proof examples are certainly valuable, the real star of the show is the 1974 Washington quarter that could be worth $95,000. Yes, you heard me right, $95,000. Now, you might be wondering, what makes this particular coin worth so much? Well, there is a very specific version of the 1974 Washington quarter that has attracted the attention of serious collectors. This is a coin with a specific mint mark, coupled with exceptional features that make it stand out from the rest. The coin that commands such a high value is a combination of rarity, collector demand, and condition. There have been a few examples of the 1974 Washington quarter that have been sold for prices as high as $95,000 at auction. The high price tag is attributed to several factors, including its minting history, its exceptional preservation, and its status as a highly sought-after piece of American numismatic history. But how can you identify if your 1974 Washington quarter could be worth this kind of money? Well, first, you'll want to check the condition of the coin. Coins that are in mint state or have been carefully preserved will always be more valuable than coins that are worn or damaged. Next, you should look for any special characteristics, like unusual mint marks, errors in the design, or anything that deviates from the standard 1974 Washington quarter. If you suspect your quarter might have a special variation, it's always a good idea to get it professionally evaluated by a numismatist or take it to a reputable coin dealer. In conclusion, while the 1974 Washington quarter might seem like just another coin at first glance, its history, design, and collector demand make it a fascinating and valuable piece of American currency. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or a casual enthusiast, the 1974 Washington quarter has a unique place in the world of numismatics, and its value can soar as high as $95,000 for the right piece. In this video, we're going to explore one of the most iconic coins in American history, the 1979 Washington quarter dollar. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just beginning to dip your toes into numismatics, the 1979 Washington quarter is a must-know. This coin, while seemingly ordinary, holds a significant place in American history, and its value may surprise you. Let's take a step back and think about the Washington quarter's story. The coin was first minted in 1932 as part of a celebration for George Washington's 200th birthday. Its initial design was created by John Flanagan, and it features a portrait of Washington on the obverse side. Over time, the coin has become one of the most enduring symbols of the United States, but how does the 1979 Washington quarter fit into this long history of coinage? The answer lies in its design, its historical significance, and the changes happening in the world of currency at that time. To understand the 1979 Washington quarter, we need to look at the historical context of that year. The 1970s were a period of great change in the United States. The country was recovering from the aftermath of the Vietnam War and the social upheavals of the 1960s. Economically, the U.S. was facing the challenges of inflation and energy crises. The 1979 quarter, minted in the midst of these challenges, offers a unique window into a pivotal era of American history. The design of the 1979 Washington quarter remained true to its earlier versions. On the obverse side, we find the well-known profile of George Washington, created by John Flanagan. Surrounding this image are the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the date, 1979. The reverse side of the coin features the American eagle in a powerful pose, with its wings spread wide, perched on an olive branch and surrounded by the inscriptions, United States of America, E pluribus unum, and quarter dollar. While the design remained unchanged, there were some noteworthy developments in the way the coins were produced. In 1965, the U.S. Mint made a significant decision to change the composition of the quarter due to rising silver prices. The 1965 Washington quarters were no longer made of 90% silver but instead were minted with a combination of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This was the same composition used for the 1979 Washington quarter. While this change was made for economic reasons, it also impacted the value of the coin, as it was no longer made primarily of precious metals like silver. Despite the change in composition, the 1979 Washington quarter remained an essential piece of currency for Americans. Millions of these coins were minted that year, and they were used in everyday transactions across the country. At first glance, these coins may seem like nothing more than a piece of standard U.S. currency, but to collectors, they hold much more significance. So, what makes the 1979 Washington quarter stand out in the world of coin collecting? Well, as with any coin, condition is key. Most of the coins that were minted in 1979 were used extensively in circulation, meaning they have experienced wear and tear over the years. A typical 1979 Washington quarter found in your pocket change may be worth only its face value of 25 cents. However, coins that have been carefully preserved or remain uncirculated are worth significantly more. The uncirculated versions of the 1979 Washington quarter, especially those that have been graded as mint state, can fetch much higher prices. These coins are in pristine condition and show no signs of wear, making them highly desirable to collectors. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. Another factor that plays a role in the value of the 1979 Washington quarter is its rarity. While millions of these quarters were minted in 1979, there are certain variations that make some coins much rarer than others. For example, certain coins with specific mint marks, such as the Denver Mint Mark D, are more sought after than others. Coins minted with different dyes, errors, or unique characteristics can also fetch higher prices. Speaking of rare variations, it's important to note that error coins are among the most exciting and valuable pieces in any collection. The 1979 Washington quarter is no exception. Some quarters from that year were minted with double dyes or other minting errors, which make them incredibly valuable. If you find a 1979 quarter with a noticeable error, it could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the rarity and severity of the error. Now, you may be wondering, what is the current value of the 1979 Washington quarter? While most of the coins from this year are worth just their face value, there are examples that can command impressive sums in the marketplace. The key factors that determine the value of the 1979 Washington quarter are its condition, its rarity, and whether it has any special features, such as minting errors or unique characteristics. For example, a typical 1979 Washington quarter in circulated condition might be worth anywhere from 50 cents to a few dollars, depending on its grade. However, uncirculated coins in excellent condition can easily be worth $10 to $20, and proof coins, which were specially minted for collectors, can command even higher prices. But here's the real kicker: a 1979 Washington quarter with the right combination of rarity and condition has been known to fetch as much as $85,000 at auction. That's right, $85,000 for a single coin. Now, you might be thinking, what makes this coin worth so much? Well, the key to this astronomical price is its rarity and the high demand among collectors. The 1979 Washington quarter that fetched such a high price likely had a unique feature, whether it was a minting error, a particularly rare die, or a coin in mint condition that was in high demand among collectors. This goes to show that, while most 1979 Washington quarters are worth just a few dollars, there are certain coins from this year that can be incredibly valuable. If you happen to come across a 1979 Washington quarter in your collection, be sure to carefully examine it. Check for any mint marks, signs of wear, or possible errors that could make it worth a lot more than you think. If you believe you found a valuable coin, it's always a good idea to have it professionally appraised by a certified numismatist or coin dealer. These experts can help you determine the true value of your coin and provide advice on how to care for and preserve it. In conclusion, the 1979 Washington quarter is a coin that holds a special place in the world of American numismatics. While it may seem like just another coin in your pocket, its history, design, and the potential for rare variations make it much more than that. Whether you're just starting out in coin collecting or you've been in the hobby for years, the 1979 Washington quarter is a coin you don't want to overlook. Today's video, where we're taking an in-depth look at one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history, the 1982 Washington quarter dollar. This coin, although often overlooked in everyday transactions, carries a fascinating history, intricate design, and incredible appeal in the world of coin collecting. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just beginning to discover the world of numismatics, the 1982 Washington quarter holds both significance and value. By the end of this video, I'll reveal a mind-blowing fact about its worth that may surprise you. So, let's begin by diving into the historical context of the 1982 Washington quarter dollar. To fully appreciate this coin, it's important to understand where it fits in American history and how it came to be. The Washington quarter itself was first introduced in 1932, created to honor George Washington, the first President of the United States, on the occasion of his 200th birthday. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, the coin has since become one of the most enduring symbols of America's legacy. But what makes the 1982 quarter so special, and why is it worthy of such attention? By the early 1980s, the United States was undergoing significant changes in the realm of coinage. The 1982 Washington quarter, minted by the U.S. Mint, marked the continued tradition of honoring Washington's likeness on the coin, but by this time, the American economy had faced numerous challenges, including the end of the silver era in coinage. Since 1965, U.S. coins like the quarter had been struck using a mix of copper and nickel rather than the precious metals like silver that had once been used. This shift was part of a broader strategy to make coins more affordable and accessible to the public while also addressing the rising costs of raw materials. The 1982 Washington quarter continued to feature the well-known design, George Washington's profile on the obverse, and an eagle on the reverse perched upon an olive branch. The coin's composition was made up of a blend of 75% copper and 25% nickel, which contributed to the coin's weight and durability. As the 1980s progressed, these quarters became a staple of everyday transactions, circulating widely in commerce, yet many collectors were still drawn to them due to the long-standing connection with America's first president. Now, let's explore the design itself, which is often one of the most captivating aspects of any coin. The 1982 Washington quarter retained the classic design, with the obverse featuring a left-facing profile of George Washington. His image is bold and dignified, capturing the essence of the first president, whose legacy as a leader and unifier is so important in the history of the United States. Surrounding Washington's portrait, we find the words, "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," along with the mint year, 1982, clearly visible. On the reverse, we see the familiar image of the American bald eagle, representing strength and freedom. The eagle is perched on a bundle of arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing the nation's commitment to peace and its readiness to defend liberty. The reverse design also includes the inscription "United States of America" at the top and "E Pluribus Unum" along the bottom. At the coin's base, the words "$quarter" remind us of its denomination. While the design itself remained constant over the decades, the 1982 Washington quarter holds significance due to its connection with both the history of U.S. coinage and the economic climate of the time. The 1980s was a period marked by high inflation, the aftermath of the Vietnam War, and the challenges of the Cold War. With such a tumultuous backdrop, the quarter not only served as a practical currency but also as a constant symbol of stability during uncertain times. Now, let's focus on the minting details and the production of the 1982 Washington quarter. During the 1980s, the U.S. Mint was facing high demand for quarters. Millions of these coins were being produced annually to meet the needs of commerce. The 1982 Washington quarter was minted at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mint facilities. Coins produced at these locations are often marked with specific mint marks, the D mint mark indicating production at the Denver Mint, the P mint mark for the Philadelphia Mint, and the S mint mark for the San Francisco Mint. For collectors, these mint marks are vital when it comes to determining the rarity and value of a coin. Generally speaking, coins from the Philadelphia Mint are the most common, while those from the Denver Mint and San Francisco Mint may carry a higher value due to lower production numbers. However, it's not just the mint marks that influence a coin's worth. Other factors, such as the coin's grade and any potential errors, are also highly significant when it comes to its market value. Over time, collectors have developed a deep fascination with specific Washington quarters, including those from the 1980s. What sets the 1982 Washington quarter apart from others is that it marks the tail end of an era when coinage was still being minted with the same designs and metals that had been used for decades. It's part of a period when the U.S. Mint was transitioning from traditional coinage to the more modern, specialized designs that would later come with the state quarters program in the 1990s. A result, the 1982 Washington quarter carries appeal not only for those interested in the coins of the 1980s but also for those fascinated by the earlier history of U.S. minting and the coins that once circulated throughout the country. Coin collectors often look for Washington quarters in excellent condition, especially uncirculated coins, as these tend to be worth far more than those that have been in regular circulation. Let's now take a closer look at the collector appeal of the 1982 Washington quarter. As with any collectible coin, its value largely depends on its condition. Most of the 1982 Washington quarters that you come across today have likely seen years of circulation, meaning they have undergone wear and tear from handling and spending. These coins are often found with visible scratches, discoloration, and even small dings. However, there are always exceptions. Uncirculated 1982 Washington quarters, which have been carefully preserved and have no signs of wear, can fetch significantly higher prices on the market. Professional coin grading services, such as the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, grade coins on a scale from 1 to 70, with higher grades indicating better condition and a higher market value. Coins that receive a grade of 65 or higher are considered excellent, and those in mint condition can be quite valuable to collectors. In addition to uncirculated coins, certain rare variations of the 1982 Washington quarter, such as those with die errors or other unique features, are highly sought after. Errors, such as double dies, off-center strikes, or planchet flaws, are often what bring the most excitement in the coin collecting world. If you come across a 1982 Washington quarter with a noticeable error, it could potentially be worth far more than its face value. As we approach the big reveal of the 1982 Washington quarter's value, it's important to keep in mind that the value of any coin is determined by a variety of factors, including condition, rarity, demand, and historical significance. While the standard 1982 Washington quarter is not considered extremely rare, uncirculated coins, error coins, and those with higher grades can easily reach impressive sums at auctions or from private buyers. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the current value of the 1982 Washington quarter. Depending on the coin's condition, mint mark, and rarity, certain 1982 Washington quarters have been known to fetch prices as high as $75,000 at auction. That's right, $75,000 for a single quarter. So, if you're lucky enough to own an uncirculated 1982 Washington quarter, or perhaps one with an error or rare mint mark, you could be holding onto a valuable piece of U.S. history. Always remember to carefully examine your coins and get them professionally appraised if you believe they might have significant value. Today's video is for you. We're diving deep into the world of one of the most iconic U.S. coins, the Washington quarter dollar from the 1983 mint mark. Now, while many of us are familiar with the everyday use of quarters, you might be surprised to learn that this particular coin holds a special place in the hearts of collectors. What makes the 1983 Washington quarter stand out from the rest? How has it maintained its allure over the decades? And what is its worth today? Stick around, because we're about to explore all of that and more in today's deep dive. The Washington quarter itself has a rich history, one that spans back to the 1930s. First introduced in 1932 to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday, this quarter replaced the previously circulating standing Liberty quarter. Washington, as the first president of the United States, was a fitting figure to honor on a coin. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, the Washington quarter became an instant hit with the American public. It featured a left-facing portrait of the president, surrounded by the inscriptions, Liberty and, In God We Trust, with the coin's year of minting prominently displayed. However, what sets the 1983 Washington quarter apart is not just its design but the historical context surrounding it. By the early 1980s, the United States was undergoing significant economic shifts. After the inflationary periods of the late 1970s and early 1980s, the country was beginning to stabilize. The 1983 quarter was minted during an important moment in U.S. history, representing not only the legacy of George Washington but also the resilience of a nation working to regain its footing after challenging economic times. Now, let's talk about the design itself. For many, the Washington quarter has become synonymous with tradition. The design of the 1983 coin closely mirrors the original design created in 1932. On the obverse, we have a beautifully detailed portrait of George Washington. His calm and dignified expression reflects the strength and leadership that made him an enduring figure in American history. His face is framed by the word Liberty at the top, with the inscription, In God We Trust, to the left. The year 1983 is positioned just below Washington's image, marking the year of minting. On the reverse side of the coin, the image of the American bald eagle has remained unchanged. The eagle is perched on a bundle of arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing both the country's readiness to defend itself and its desire for peace. The reverse also features the inscription United States of America along the top, and E pluribus unum along the bottom, which translates to out of many, one, a phrase that encapsulates the unity of the states. At the bottom of the reverse side, we find the words, quarter dollar, indicating the coin's denomination. The 1983 Washington quarter continued the use of a copper-nickel composition that had been standard for U.S. coinage since 1965. This alloy, which is 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, was chosen for its durability and ability to withstand wear and tear in circulation. The coin's weight and diameter remained the same as previous years, with each quarter weighing 5.67 grams and measuring 24.3 millimeters in diameter. Now, let's move on to the minting process and details about the production of the 1983 Washington quarter. This coin was minted in large quantities at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. These mints are responsible for producing the nation's coinage, and each location uses a distinct mint mark to identify where the coin was struck. For the 1983 quarter, there are three possible mint marks that you could find: the P mint mark, indicating the Philadelphia mint, the D mint mark for Denver, and the S mint mark, representing the San Francisco mint. The production of the 1983 Washington quarter was substantial, with millions of coins being minted to meet the demand for currency. While the Philadelphia mint produced the majority of the coins, the Denver and San Francisco mints were also actively engaged in striking quarters for circulation. However, what may surprise you is that despite the high production numbers, there are certain 1983 Washington quarters that have become highly sought after by collectors due to variations in their mint marks or any potential errors they may contain. Now, what makes the 1983 Washington quarter even more interesting is its appeal in the world of numismatics. While the coin may not have the same level of rarity as some of the older or more limited edition quarters, it holds a unique charm for collectors. As the years go by, collectors start to focus on specific years of coins, and the 1983 Washington quarter, being part of the post-1970s era of U.S. coinage, represents an important period in the history of U.S. currency. But what is it about the 1983 Washington quarter that appeals to collectors specifically? Well, for one, it's a part of a long-standing tradition of Washington quarters. For many coin enthusiasts, collecting coins from specific years or mints has become a rewarding pursuit. The 1983 quarter is a piece of history that connects collectors with the legacy of George Washington, who continues to be one of the most admired figures in American history. As the years pass, even coins from the 1980s are becoming rarer to find in circulation, and collectors are actively seeking to fill their collections with pristine examples of these quarters. Additionally, there is the possibility that certain 1983 Washington quarters might have errors or unique variations. Whether it's a misstrike, a double die, or other minting anomalies, these quirks can make a coin much more valuable to collectors. It's not uncommon for a seemingly ordinary coin to be worth far more than its face value if it has an error or unusual characteristic that makes it rare. As we explore the appeal of the 1983 Washington quarter, it's also important to note that coins in excellent condition, those that are uncirculated or have been carefully preserved, tend to be valued far more than those that have been circulated for years. The condition of the coin plays a crucial role in determining its market value, with higher-grade coins often fetching significantly higher prices. Coin grading services, like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation (NGC), and the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS), use a scale from 1 to 70 to evaluate a coin's condition. A higher grade indicates a coin with fewer flaws, making it more desirable to collectors and investors alike. Now, we've explored the historical context, the design, the minting process, and the appeal of the 1983 Washington quarter. But the real question that's likely on everyone's mind is, what is the current value of the 1983 Washington quarter? You might think that because it's a more modern coin, it's worth just 25 cents, right? Well, you'd be mistaken. While most 1983 quarters you come across will be worth face value, certain exceptional pieces, those in excellent condition or with rare mint marks or errors, can be worth far more. And now, here's the big reveal: the 1983 Washington quarter has been known to fetch impressive prices, especially when it's in pristine condition or contains a rare feature. The value of the 1983 Washington quarter can go as high as $94,000 when it is in top condition or has a rare error. That's right, This seemingly ordinary coin could be worth a staggering $94,000. What does this mean for you as a collector or someone just getting started in coin collecting? It means that your spare change might hold hidden treasures, and you could be sitting on a fortune without even realizing it. Always remember to examine your coins closely for any potential errors or unique characteristics, and if you find something that seems special, don't hesitate to have it appraised. In conclusion, the 1983 Washington quarter dollar is more than just a piece of currency. It's a fascinating part of American history, a symbol of the nation's values, and an important item in the world of coin collecting. Whether you're adding it to your collection or discovering its potential value, this coin is undoubtedly one to watch. Thanks for joining me on this exciting journey through the 1983 Washington quarter, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on more amazing coin stories.